take a look. Alright, I'll go ahead and get everything switched over, and we'll get started with our first run, which is Earthbound by MyOhMike. So that should be starting in a second here. Alright, and there we go. I think you should be ready to go.
Hey!
By the looks of it. Cool, yeah, it looks like you're good to go, so you can just count off whenever.
Alright, well, let's, no reason to wait. So let's get started. 3, 2, 1, go! This is a nice long intro here that I can talk a little bit about the run. Don't even know in chat if I need to turn any of my volume knobs up or down if you can't hear me too well. But this is going to be Earthbound, and we're going to be playing Pokey % this time. The route is heavily based on Pajama %, because that's the only other Earthbound category I know. So a lot of the same tricks are going to carry over to this run. But the goal of Pokey % isn't to beat the game while still wearing our pajamas. As cool of a run as that is, and it really is, Pajama % is a fantastic speed run. I love it to death. But we're not going to go with pajamas this time. This time we're going to take Ness out of the party entirely. In just a couple of minutes, he's going to just leave, never come back. He's going to be locked in a basement for the rest of his life, is actually what's going to happen. And taking his place in the fabled party of the 3 boys and a girl who are going to save the whole universe. One of the boys is now going to be Pokey. And we're going to start the process by turning around and hitting the reset button on my Super Nintendo, which is always a great way to start a speed run, right? Is just hit reset like about a minute into the run. That always feels good. But it's actually part of the run. I'm going to load another save file here. Because just like in Pajama %, we're going to make use of all 3 save files. I have my one speedrun play file on file 1. That's the one that we're actually going to take to the completion. And I have 2 other save files set up here in particular places. Let me finish this trick first. Bonk. Go down. Back up. And I was a half second late. So what I'm trying to do on this 3rd save file right now is do everything I just did, but about half an in-game step faster. I'm trying to do a stairs glitch on the stairs underneath the Threed graveyard here. And we're going to use 3 different versions of the stairs glitch, so we're going to see it a lot. So if it doesn't quite make sense on this first go around, you'll get a chance to pick it up as we go. Right now what I want to do is get a game over as I'm walking back onto the staircase from the bottom. There we go. No. So let me make sure I got it, and then I can explain what actually happened. Because now it looks like I was like a half a stair too fast. And then it's just, if that's the case, it's just going to be that kind of day. It's just going to be that kind of run, but we're good. So the reason why the game moved Nest to the staircase is because staircases in the game Earthbound, the world of Earthbound, are ridiculously complicated. There's actually a lot going on behind the scenes as soon as you step on a staircase. It's helpful to think of a staircase like a railway. And the game wants to force you onto that rail. Like when you're walking on stairs, you can only move left and right. I can't even like face up or down. It's trying to make it so I can only move left and right. And part of the way it locks you onto the railway is the game tries to teleport you those couple little pixels you might be off, so you don't have to be pixel perfect, It's going to move you a couple of pixels onto the staircase. But what's going on there is you actually get the game over. I don't want to say it's frame perfect, but for the sake of conversation, you get the game over the same frame the game's trying to teleport you onto the staircase. So as far as the game is concerned, the next thing it has to do, whatever happens, as soon as you get control of the character, is it has to teleport you to that staircase. And if you load in your speedrun file at that point, it's still going to teleport Ness to that staircase because the game just doesn't clear out its memory properly, and it just assumes that you're supposed to be on that staircase. So it just moves you all the way from Ness's house to the stairs, and Ness is locked and trapped in that basement forever. We're just not going to see him again. Jeff could go out of bounds and go save him, but this is a Pokey percent, so he's going to go save Pokey instead. And like I said, we're going to be seeing a lot of stairs in this run. Ha ha ha. Yeah, this key never works. And it was all just a clever ploy to introduce the machine that opens doors, and you have a slightly bad key machine. Which we're also not going to be using in the run too much. In a casual playthrough, that's how Ness would open the door and get out of the basement, but today we're using it just to grab a couple items from the locker. You do at least have to grab the pop gun before the game lets you move on, which is convenient because it's a good item for Jeff anyway. But Jeff can benefit from stairs glitches too, so we're gonna save the game here. Yes. And this time I'm going to nice squeaky chair. Sorry about that. So we're gonna use the save file I have set up in Summers. Now both of these other save files I'm using stairs glitches on. I have Pooh at very low hit points. In this file he has exactly 1 hit point, and he has Sunstroke, so he's gonna take damage over time, right about there. And we're using another version of a stairs glitch, but you can see this time the timing wasn't so important. I wanted to make sure I got the game over in the middle of the staircase, because again, staircases are very, very, very complicated. When you're walking on a staircase, after it does its little ties you to the railway kind of thing, the game actually is programmed to let you walk through walls until you get off the staircase. And since you never get off the staircase, the game still thinks you're supposed to be able to walk through the walls. So Jeff can just, ignore all the walls and walk wherever he wants to in the game, which is super, super powerful. It's a super powerful glitch to have in Earthbound because the entire world exists on one huge world map file. All the caves, every shop, every house, everything in the game, it's technically all on the same map file. So being able to walk through walls means you can go literally anywhere you want to in the game if you know where it is on the big cobbled together world map. But as you can see, a lot of what you walk through is just going to be covered in the void. And the town up's going to help us navigate the void a little bit more to get to where we really want to go. But first I have to take a death orb. Please hit me. Thank you. Oh wait, oh, whoa. This is the one time I want to... I almost quit out of the file. I almost quit out of the wrong file. There we go. And now we're gonna go back out of bounds. That's the one time I actually want to continue and not quit the game after a game over. The one time. I almost messed it up. Alright, back to Summers. And again, the reason why the game's letting you walk through walls on the stairs is that's the way of it letting you, say, in this point, or in this place, in this example, there we go, that's the one I'm looking for. In that example, that's how it's letting you walk from the sidewalk down to the beach, because otherwise, that's just an impassable tile. There we go. Now, what I'm going to be listening for here is actually the meteor crashing outside of Ness's house. I'm going to be walking through the void for this, but I'm going to be listening for the audio cue. It should be here. There it is. So I'm going to open and close the map, and that forces the game to check your position and load in the correct set of graphics. Because you can walk through all the doors you want to, but if they're in the void, if they're not loaded in on screen, you can't actually interact with them. That's true for most NPCs as well. But I used the music or the sound effects to figure out where I am. Okay, hi there. Hi, Coil Snake. I really thought I'd be able to sneak by you, dude. Go away. And if you're a big fan of Earthbound, you'll probably just realize, hey, you're walking to the meteorite for the first time. There aren't supposed to be enemies here, and you are absolutely correct. There are usually no enemies out and about. That crow was determined, man. There are usually no enemies out and about in this part of the game. But watching the cutscene that introduces Winters and introduces you to Jeff, part of that cutscene is programmed to turn random enemy spawns back on. So unfortunately for this little bit of the intro, we have a couple of extra enemy encounters we have to worry about that we otherwise wouldn't. But the pop gun's gonna make that very easy to deal with. To the point where I'm not really gonna bother trying to despawn them or anything, because we can just steamroll everything over here. Leave me alone, crow. Alright. It's usually one more enemy spawn. Nah, we're good. There's usually one enemy right there. Welcome home, yo. Yeah, Ness's mom just treats you as if you were Ness. There are certain parts of the game that will realize you don't have Ness in the party, and the script will change accordingly, but this is not one of those times. Oh, hey, look, there was like one frame of Pajama Ness there. And the mom's gonna run to us, and then run by us, and just keep on running to the left. She's programmed to run behind Ness, and Ness isn't here. So she just kind of walks in a straight line. And this little cutscene right here technically invalidates this as a pajama % run, which is okay because only Ness wears pajamas and he's not in the party, so it's not a big deal. But it's an important distinction to make because pajama % can't watch this cutscene, which means it can't actually get the phone call from Ness's dad at the start of the game. And if you don't get the phone call from your dad, you can't save the game as Ness. You have very, very limited options as far as save points go in Pajama %. But we don't have to worry about that because Ness isn't around, so I'm not really worried about the pajama part of the speedrun. So I can get this phone call right here is specifically what triggers it. Or triggers you being able to save, rather. The other important bonus I get in this category is you can't unlock the teleport to Onett unless you change out of your pajamas. And I can do that by walking out, walking back in right here. And that's enough to unlock the teleport to Onett. And now I'm going to save the game, because we're getting ready to go back out of bounds. Now that we have Pokey in the party. Oh my gosh, Dad. Thank you. The other half, there are a lot of drawbacks to not having Ness in the party, one of which is every time you call your dad to save, he has a lot of extra dialogue if Ness isn't the one who makes the phone call. And we're going to play around, we're going to manipulate the graphic sets, the tile sets, if you will, on this trip out of bounds as well. Because my next destination is the Dusty Dunes Desert, which isn't on the town map, which is kind of a problem. But there's a easy way around it. Just gonna listen for the music here for a minute. Open and close the map here. Yeah. So that house, for whatever reason, shares a tile set with this building in the Dusty Dunes Desert. That's gonna let me walk right out, get to where I need to go. I'm actually gonna turn around and take a quick save here. Because if I run into one enemy, there's a good chance I can get out of the fight. If I run into more than one enemy, I'm super dead. But we're here in the desert for a couple of things. One of which is to get sunstroke, because they're trying to do a stairs glitch on this save file, actually, which means I need some sort of damage over time effect, and sunstroke's the easiest one to get without getting myself killed. Look at that. What a jerk. Not even gonna bother. Wait, what? That's alright. Because it's like 50-50 getting out of that fight, even if it's just one-on-one. But aside from sunstroke, there are a lot of nifty items that you can pick up in the desert while you're walking around waiting to catch sunstroke. The big difference right now between this and Pajama Percent is normally I'd have Poo here, which means if there's an enemy on the screen, I can just cast Teleport and go around it. You're gonna be a little more careful. Alright. So as long as my characters are sweating on screen, they're in an area that has a chance to give me sunstroke. And then the screen will start flashing red in a very annoying fashion. But so far, no luck. Which is just the pits when it comes to RNG. Cause I can't go inside the drugstore until I get sunstroke here. I cannot move on in a speedrun, unfortunately. Cause just taking damage in combat's not gonna work out for me the same way. Come on, don't do this to me. Give me the sunstroke. Just make the screen go blinky blinky red. Take away 2 hit points of damage. It would wait for a marathon run to give me this RNG. It really would. Of course it would. That or a PB run. Nope. Can't get this any other time. Dude. Like, I don't even have to move around. I could just sit here. Please give me sunstroke. I can't move on until you give me the status effect. This is abysmal. This is why I gave it a nice bigger estimate though. Is mainly this right here. Cause I had a feeling it was gonna do this. Please. Oh my gosh, dude. Is this side of the road hotter, maybe? Yeah? Yeah? No? Okay. Nope. Are you for real right now? Don't. Why are you not getting sunstroke? What are you doing? Fun fact though, because Ness wears a hat, it's actually programmed in the game. Oh wow, there's a spot that it's not sunstroke. Let me stay right here. Fun fact though, Ness's sprite wears a hat, and the game is programmed to have him have a lower chance of getting sunstroke because of the hat. There it goes. Look at that. Haha. Okay. Where's the drugstore? There we go. Alright, so now I can come in and do a little bit of shopping. I'm going to sell some items. Sell the Holmes hat. And crack that. And I'm going to buy some calorie sticks because they're very, very cheap. And I don't have a ton of money. But at this point in the game, they're also full heals. They're strong enough to heal me to max. Alright, so now I've just got to wait a little bit more. Sorry for all the waiting. I got to wait until I get to critical hit points. Which is really nice if Jeff gets sunstroke early, not just because then you don't have to wait for it. But the ideal timing is you get in the store with about, 10 or 8 hit points left. You do your shopping, you walk to the phone, and then you can save the game. Because I have to wait for, gotta wait for critical hit points to move on here. Boop, boop, boop. 13, 11. I gotta wait for, I think it's 5. So 3 more ticks. There we go. Save. This time we're going to use the save file in 3 again. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. And just for anybody keeping track at home, there's the split. We were 45 seconds ahead getting the phone call from Dad because I ran into that. The encounters were that good at the start of the game. And I'm 3 minutes behind my PB waiting for sunstroke. GG. Good going, RNG. Boom, 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 boom. So the first part of the trick's gonna look exactly like it did at the start of the game. I'm including me having to hoof it here. Alright, I'm a little late, so don't bonk. I might just be too late. Yeah. In fact, I think I messed it up the same way I did at the starter run. So it looked exactly like it did the first time of the run. Including being a half step too late at the bottom. But I do want to have Ness teleport to the basement there. No, I think I actually see what went wrong. No, we're good. Blink, bonk. Bottom. There we go. Well, let me make sure we move there before I get too excited. There we go. So this is the second half of this version of the glitch, is to get that text box to appear right when I step on the top step there. And again, it's because that text message is going to interrupt the game sequence of events. The long series of things it tries to do anytime you stand on a staircase. That text box interrupts it, locking me into place on the ladder, or on the stairs. So it turns on walk through walls, but it doesn't turn on walk on the staircase only. So I can just walk out of bounds. See, the music's changed. Yeah, I'm in the Tucson department store. Bingo. That's where I want to go. I'm going to head to the top floor. You see, I'm still taking damage over time because I have to do that trick again. 15. I'm here to buy a teddy bear. Because he's cute, fuzzy, and adorable. But he's also going to make the first boss fight a lot less RNG dependent. So I wait for the message again. You see, the timing worked out a lot better. I don't have to sit here and wait nearly as long. All done. Reset. And we're going to do the same thing. Teleport back to the basement. And and go out of bounds from the basement. But what makes that basement so special, the reason why we use that set of stairs in particular, is because of the tile sets, the graphics that load in. The room in the basement actually shares graphics with the Starman DX space, as well as the Dungeon Man area, neither of which are on the town map. So if I want to just walk out of bounds and go to those places, that's the only way I can do it, is to leave from here. Nope. Yep. Alright, so I have to do that 3-aid skip one more time, so I still can't heal the Sunstroke off of Jeff. So I'm going to be seeing the damage over time blinking for a little while longer. You see, I was even a little bit late getting to that staircase, it looked like, but it still worked out okay. Make sure you heal, though, or you get a game over in the void and you feel really bad. But now I'm just going to listen for the audio cues and not open the map, or you're going to ruin the entire trip out of bounds here. So that's Deep Darkness, which is actually where I want to go, but I don't have any way to open up the map here. Well, that would be great, being able to go right to Deep Darkness, but alright. We're actually headed to Dungeon Man, and I'm going to skip getting to Hawkeye. I'm not going to need it for this run. How awesome is this music track, by the way? Oh, hey, time to heal. Now, I have to be careful because there are still random enemy spawns. Let's see, any talking about is going to summon them. Oh, stay down there. Oh, are you kidding me? Come on. Hey. Alright. So we got to the submarine. The submarine's going to carry us to Deep Darkness, which is why I wanted to go the entire time. Even though I walked through it, through the void. Deep Darkness doesn't share any graphic sets with anything else. So there's really no way to get there out of bounds unless you have the Soundstone. And that would waste way too much time to get that. There we go. Okay. The first part of cutscene is so long, I get worried every time that something's gone wrong and it's soft locked. But once again, in this cutscene, behind the scenes, it's actually turning on random enemy spawns, which is why I had to do this earlier, because I'm actually going to turn random enemy spawns off a little bit later. So I have to get certain cutscenes out of the way first. Alright, let's stay at the Monkey Love Inn. Mainly because just gonna fix a broken item overnight. The broken spray can sells for 98 bucks. The defense spray sells for, I think, 250. It's a big income boost. And we have very, very little money to work with in this category. Oh, not far enough. Come here, you. Alright, so so Jeff is going to be our main damage dealer for the entire run. Mainly by throwing these big, expensive multi-bottle rockets. I'm going to pick up some super bombs for my other characters too, but the big chunk of damage... Wow. I didn't have to use as many eyes as I thought. There we go. And we'll drop that too, just so I don't have to worry about that again. Boom. Exactly $0 left. Nice. Okay. And now I have to go back and I'm using the Summer's Faucet, so I don't have to worry about hitting low hit points. I do have to go save the game though, to go out of bounds. But Jeff is the only one who can use multi-bottle rockets. Anybody can throw super bombs, but only Jeff can use multi-bottle rockets, which are a huge amount of damage. Even though we're going to be under-leveled, the bombs make up for the level difference. Click. Oh, I guess I got a notification on my phone. New phone, who this? Really is a new phone. I didn't know what that beep was at first. So we're just taking a regular casual trip out of bounds. I don't have to teleport or anything, and we're going to use this to skip the entire Deep Darkness. And you can probably see just from the small trip I took through the swamp there, that moving through here is very, very slow. So being able to skip it by doing that saves a huge amount of time, as you might imagine, because this is a big place and you move very slowly. The drawback to that is that there are a lot of nice items in the Deep Darkness. So I get cut off from a lot of money. I get cut off from an item that would resurrect a knocked out character. I'm not actually going to have any resurrection items for the entire game. But we're not going to need them. I'm going to grab this death ray, because there's just a death ray in a trash can. Where else would you find one, right? And I'm not going out of bounds. I just want to save the game here. Because even with the teddy bear, there's a chance this boss fight doesn't go the way I want it to go. Oh, yeah, let me... I'm glad that message was there, because I almost forgot to heal. So the graphics here look the way they do because you're supposed to use a key item called the Hawkeye to see out in the darkness. That is the Deep Darkness. See out in the Deep Darkness, I guess. I'm not going to get any kind of... That tree is not going to block for me. And we're going to skip getting the Hawkeye because I can... Wow. The encounter RNG is terrible today. I can navigate the darkness well enough to get to the boss fight I want to get to. It's not really that long of a trip. Alright, that is usually up there in the northeast corner there. It's usually the last enemy spawn location I gotta worry about. So we should be good to go all the way to Master Bar from here. 13. Yeah, I'm gonna heal up. Right, so I still need some good RNG here, because the teddy bear only has, I think, 75% chance to block an attack. It's awful expensive for just a 75% chance, if you ask me, but that's how it works. Alright, good. So he didn't deal damage on the first turn. So I can get my multi-bottle rocket off. There's a chance this will be a one-shot kill. No dice. Got my big bottle rocket. Alright, so he didn't deal any damage whatsoever in the entire fight. So going to get the teddy bear was a total waste of time. But if I didn't have it, I would have needed the exact RNG I just got, which is not always easy to get. In the little bit of testing I did, I've gone like 7 or 8 fights in a row not getting that much RNG, which means you're gonna die without the teddy bear. And teddy bear makes that more like a 75% chance you're gonna get through the fight, no issues. But it feels really bad when you spend time to go get the teddy bear, and then the boss swings at you, and the teddy bear's just like, I'm not taking that. You just go ahead and eat your game over and go back. And Jeff was level 1, so we're going to level up a ton here. So much leveling up. Which is good. I mean, it's a lot of text to mash through, but extra EXP, especially on Jeff, is a really big deal. The higher his stats are, his speed stat in particular, the more damage he's going to do with his multi-bottle rocket. Multi-bottle rockets, if I remember my Wikipedia reading correctly, multi-bottle rocket has 20 attack rolls built into the item. Teleport is what I'm looking for. And the more accurate he can be on those 20 attack rolls, the better. That's why there's such a wide variance in the damage rolls of multi-bottle rockets. Sometimes they'll do like 2k damage and take out your boss in one round, and you're super happy. And then sometimes it'll deal like 500 damage, and you have to find the extra damage somewhere. I don't know why I went the long way through the menu. There we go. I'm going to Happy Village. I'm using the Summer Teleport. Okay. I had a moment there. I want to make sure I didn't have to wait for low hit points. And so I'm going to Happy Village, which also isn't on the town map. But it does have a drugstore, so I can go from one drugstore to the other, going out of bounds. Oh yeah, he leveled up. He's got 20 hit points. Which is actually something worth talking about. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. The next thing I'm going to do overall in the game is go save Paula. She's the last party member I need, and she's still stuck over here in the cabin, waiting for somebody to come rescue her. Did that crow just popping out of nowhere? Was that just me? But as soon as you enter the cabin here, behind the scenes, the game turns off a switch that does damage over time, so we're not going to take any damage from Sunstroke right now. It also turns off the switch that generates random enemy encounters, because the game wants to make sure there is no way possible for you to cheese through this fight against evil Pokey, because we have good Pokey. It wants to make sure there's no way for you to be able to skip this fight. So until you fight Pokey, there are no random enemy encounters we're going to have to worry about whatsoever. And until I save the game, I don't have to worry about damage over time either. That'll turn back on, but the random enemy spawns won't. And since we're not going to fight Pokey, save the game. Pretty well, yeah, exactly from now until the end of the speedrun, I don't have to worry about running into any fight I don't want to run into. Random enemy spawns are completely removed as a problem in the speedrun, which is so nice. Not just because it's one less random element you have to worry about, but there's certain points in the game where the random, even if you're leveled up and know what you're doing, the random encounters can be pretty tough. Especially in Magic Hand, where you're going to want to run from the fights anyway, but you have to inflict status effects before you do, and it's a lot to have to worry about. But for this trip out of bounds, I actually want to go to the building that is one room north of the Winter's Drugstore. All I had to do was walk straight north for about 2 seconds, and I'd be in the room I want to go to. The reason why I'm running the wrong way is because it's not on the town map, unfortunately. So my two options to go save Paula are to fight all of the happy cultists, find my way through the headquarters, then go fight Carpainter, which is a lot of level up text. Oops. It's using a lot of items that I don't really have. It's a big effort. The other option is I come over here, load the map in for that room, and that room shares graphics, shares a tile set with the headquarters for the Happiest. So I'm gonna walk all the way back to the Winter's Drugstore. The place that you're gonna hear the drugstore theme when we get there. So I've done a huge circle. But A, it does save time overall. But B, I need to make another trip out of bounds using that 3D file. So Jeff has a ton of hit points he has to melt through. Because I have to wait for him to hit critical hit points. So I actually need him to take damage, which is why I'm not using my other Skip Sandwich Deluxe. It's that rare situation where going faster would actually be slower. It's weird how it works out that way. But if I go too fast, I'm going to end up standing around waiting for Jeff to take more damage anyway, so I'm not going to end up saving the time in the end. Come on, come on, come on. Ah. Oh, the teddy bear takes that one for me. That should do him in. There's a chance Pooh can one-shot him, but no such luck today. The ideal situation there is Jeff takes the damage. Again, because I need him to be at low hit points, but we're not doing any RNG manipulation. Whoop. Wow. I wasn't standing close enough to the present. So we're gonna leave, and there's Evil Pokey again. Yo, let's be friends again. You know, I've never named Ness Yo. It actually works out pretty well. Ha! I lied! Alright, Evil Pokey. Whatever, dude. Alright, so I unlocked the teleport to Annette earlier. And I'm mainly telling this to myself because for that reason I keep forgetting I have the teleport to Annette. Mainly because this is, I don't have it in Pajama Percent. So then I go play Pokey Percent and completely forget it exists. I can teleport to Annette here because I have to, oh no, this isn't where I'm not getting the library book yet. I'm really doing things out of order if I go get the library book now. Where's the key to the cabin? No, next is the Starman base. Another teddy bear. And now my party is complete. Pokey, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. Just like the game intended, right? I don't know if you're not paying attention during battle. Earthbound has guest characters join your party all the time. Some of them are more useful than others, and Pokey is just completely useless. He does absolutely nothing. I can actually save here, can't I? Oh wait, no, I gotta go shop. I gotta go shop first. Pokey, a lot of enemies actually too are programmed to just waste turns as part of their battle script sometimes. But Pokey is programmed to waste every turn by doing things like he'll sneak up behind the enemy, or he'll hide behind nests for a turn, or he'll pretend to be, whoops, that's not teleport, eh? He'll pretend to be preparing for a sneak attack or something. It's a lot of extra battle text. He's not actually doing anything. Alright, so one of the drawbacks of not having nests is enemies don't drop money. Because that doesn't make sense, right? Why would enemies carry around all this cash? But when you defeat enemies, Ness's dad deposits X amount of money. Excuse me. I should have grabbed a bottle of water. Oh, I did. Hey, look at that. Ness's dad deposits X amount of money into Ness's bank account. The problem is we don't have Ness, and he took his ATM card with him. So the only way we can get access to that money that we earn is by talking to Mr. Shady Dude down there. got my super bombs already. We're good to go. Support Winters. Hold on a second. There we go. The problem with Mr. Shady Dude over there is he'll hack into Ness's bank account and get the money for you, but he charges you a 100% fee. So I'm gonna get access to exactly half of the money anyway for hit points here. And good, he's pretty low on hit points. I'm gonna access to exactly half of the money I earned through combat in this speed run, which is really unfortunate. The money route is very, very tight. Any kind of extra item I can grab that sells for a good amount, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. Like even the Holmes hat at the start of the game, which sells for, I think, 25 bucks. You could see I bought my 2 super bombs. I was at exactly $0. I needed that Holmes hat. We're at critical hit points. Save, reset. Our next trip is to the Starman base. So this is gonna be our last trip through this 3 save file. Thank goodness, because right now I'm 0 for 2 on getting this first try. Boom, 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 boom. It's mainly this tree right here. That tree is just the bane of my existence sometimes. It should blink. Good. Bonk. Down. Turn around. Nice. Alright, first try. Oh, and I have to do the other half of the trick, though. Come on, come on. Good. Good. All right, we're done. We're done. Oh, he doesn't have enough cycle points. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna burn it. And where's the skip sandwich? So again, I'm not gonna open the map because I've already got the right graphics set loaded in. Just gonna listen to the music for a second. There. All right. Should take me right to the doorway. Up. There it is. Oh, I got a little worried there for a second. So we just skipped to the end of the Starman DX base. Again, I need a little bit of good RNG on this first turn. At the very least, I need Jeff to get his multi-bottle rocket off. Aside from that, there's a little bit of room for fudging here. Oh, I didn't move any super bombs to anybody else. Yes! Alright. So that went super well. And Paula's level 1, so she's going to level up a ton here. Which is good. There are runs sometimes where the RNG will just try to kick you around. And Paula, and even in Pajama Percent, there will be runs where, like, Ness and Paula will just be dead at the end of every boss fight. And they'll be level 1 all the way to Magic Hand. And you can finish those speedruns. Them missing that much EXP doesn't end your run immediately. You don't have to hit reset. You're probably losing a little bit of time, but you're actually saving time in mashing through text, so it's kind of a trade-off. But as far as finishing runs, that's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter too much until the Gygas fight at the end. But since I don't have Ness, I definitely want Paula to pick up as much EXP as she can, because I'm willing to bet a good sum of money that it's going to be Paula versus Gygas, 1v1 1v1 me bro at the end of the game for a long period of time. She's gonna need as many psychic points as she could possibly get. So you can sequence break a ton in Earthbound, even if you don't use the debug menu. And there's a debug menu in the game that lets you do a lot more. But even without that, you can do a lot of sequence breaking. But fighting the Starman DX and then talking to the doctor, you can't skip those things. If you do skip those things, you will eventually soft lock the game. And you won't realize it for another 20-30 minutes or so, something like that, that you've actually skipped an important step and you've broken your save file and you cannot fix it. The other thing you absolutely have to do is defeat Electrospectre, which is the 7th Sanctuary, and I don't know what the connection for that is, and clear Magic Hand. Otherwise, as I said, you can go use the out of bounds glitch to go anywhere you want to, and you can go right to the Gygus fight. But the Gygus fight will soft lock if you don't advance the game properly. Wait, I have the on-net teleport. I was talking about this earlier. I don't have to save and go out of bounds here because I have the on-net teleport. Because our next stop is the public library. Again. You? I could have gone to the right. I don't know why I didn't go to the right. I wonder what, I'm gonna talk to that NPC outside before I move on, because now I'm curious. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But the girl outside the library usually comments, tells Ness, hey, that's a cute yellow backpack you have. But I never talked to her without... Oh yeah, she still says it. Never talked to her without Ness in the party. Now I know. Oh no. Why does he only have 1 psychic point? Oh, did he not get... He got no psychic points? He got no psychic points when he leveled up. Oh, why? RNG, why? 105. Oh, what did I do to deserve that? Okay, that's fine. I needed to teleport and I didn't have enough psychic points, so I had to stay at the hotel. Oh, what a disaster. Oh no, he did level up. He just didn't. He couldn't have one extra. Can have 1 extra psychic point. Can have 1 extra psychic point. Oh. Remember what I said? Oh, I'll just use the life up spell instead of using 2 bread rolls. Oh, that won't matter. It totally did matter. Oh, couldn't get 1 more psychic point out of the level up. So we gotta go shopping again. Look at this. Couldn't be even 4K, right? Man, I love math sometimes. Alright, let's get rid of the Pixie Bracelet. Go to the Saturn Ribbon. Alright, we'll buy first. Since I misclicked it. Alright, so I just bought 2 multi-bottle rockets. And let me do a super bomb count. 1, 2, now I gotta buy some. For this next boss, ideally you would use 2 multi-bottle rockets on him. Unfortunately, if I do that, I need to go shopping again before the boss fight after that. So it's actually going to be faster and less expensive for me to just, Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna sell this teddy bear and buy another super bomb because I gotta make up a little bit of cash. There we go. I can go to Tender Village. It's gonna be faster and less expensive for me to not have to make the extra trip, and just to take an extra round to fight this next boss, because that's just how cheap we have to buy our items in this category. In Pajama Percent, I'd have an incredible amount of money to work with, and I'd have access to the ATM. So I'd buy enough. I'd have enough to buy for this boss and the next boss, and you know, maybe one for the boss after that. But I need two for the Gygus fight. But you're actually pretty close to being able to finish shopping for the whole game at this point in Pajama Percent. Fuzzy Pickles, there's no nest. Hey, you! So this is where you get to pick the player's name. I'll go ahead and... why not? Where's space? Where's space? There we go. Yep, I'm super happy with the name. But you get to pick the player's name in Earthbound, which will, that'll come up a little bit later. But there it's asking you to confirm the name you put in earlier in the game, if you're not sequence breaking. But the first time you get that question, it specifically says, hey, you, the person holding the controller, I'm talking to you, I need your name. You know, it calls you out pretty specifically. The second go around, not so much. I don't have any skip sandwiches, do I? I do not. But again, no random enemy encounters. So just slow little jog. I'm holding down, thank you. I don't know what they got hung up on. Just a nice little walk through the caves here. I'm gonna get there's like a holy trinity of items for Earthbound speedruns, one of which is this rabbit's foot. We're gonna give it to Jeff because it's a huge boost to his speed. And while I'm thinking about it, where's that Franklin badge? We're gonna give that to Paula. That's super important too. We have that on the right person. Alright, so if I get really, really good damage rolls, I can take this boss out on the first set of turns. I'm not counting on it, but it's possible. Ooh, that was good. That hit Pokey, that's good. That hit Pokey again, that's good. Oh, I bet he's really, really low. That boss spawns with a Psychic Shield, so if I were to use any of my PK abilities, they would be reflected back on my face, and that would be bad. There's also a chance that he'll just drop his own Psychic Shield. He'll just erase it off of himself, at which point I can save, don't have to throw bombs, I can use my Psychic abilities, which saves money. And might be a little bit more consistent damage. I can't remember how the damage numbers work out. But mainly it means I can save money. Alright, so there's my that healing spell Pooh just picked up. That's my only resurrection ability for the game. Also, I love the Earthbound soundtrack. It has an excellent soundtrack. You know, great music. But this track's not necessarily cream of the crop here. We're going to be holding this note out for a while. Soon I'll be... And Ness isn't here. This is a little bit weirder with Ness not here. But this next little part of the game is my favorite part of the speedrun, whether it's Pokey percent or Pajama percent. You get slightly different things in the different categories, but it's one of my favorite little moments in the speedrun. Boom, 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 boom. There's a full heal. So I'm going to drop down here to the Lost Underworld, which is a huge, gigantic place filled with dinosaurs. So the game's going to scale down our character models to match the scale of the area. Kind of. As you can see, Pokey, who's not meant to really be seen anywhere other than, you know, the normal world map, his sprite sheet doesn't have tiny sprites on it. So he just gets his normal-sized Pokey sprite. So he's dinosaur-sized. You get the same thing with Pajama Ness. Pajama Ness isn't supposed to leave his house, so he's missing a lot of sprites. Yup. Equip. Sea Pendant. And now we're gonna get out of here. Where am I going? Magic Hand, so we're going to... I have... Hold on, let me do a bomb check. Yep. Alright, so we're gonna go to Winners. You see, he really starts whipping around here during the teleport. Do I have any money? No, I don't have any money for skips. Okay. I was saying, though, that Sea Pendant is probably the single most important item for Earthbound speedruns. I probably shouldn't speak so authoritatively. I only really know Pajama percent. But at least for Pajama percent, it's the single most important item. Because that and the Franklin badge is going to make Paula more or less invincible after the first phase of the Gygas fight. Which is huge. We're not going to have to worry about her getting sniped by a ton of damage or anything like that. It's going to prevent her from getting the one-hit KO, prevent her from dying to the one-hit KO ability that Gygas has, and reflect all of his lightning damage back at him. Now, which just leaves one more ability that she will take some damage from, but it's going to be like single-digit damage at a time, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I just have to make sure she has enough hit points to get through the end of the game at that point. And as I go out of bounds here, we're going out of bounds from the tent because the tent shares some graphic tiles with about half of Magic Hint, as you're about to see. So it very conveniently is going to let us walk out of bounds and go to Magic Hint. The normal way to get there, you have to get all 8 sanctuaries, watch a big long cutscene that turns enemy spawns back on, and then you get to play as Ness by himself. None of his party members there to help him, which is dangerous. Even if you're leveled up, even if Ness is leveled up, if you don't know that's coming, you're probably going to leave a ton of items behind that would be really helpful, and it can be a difficult section of the game. But we get 2 things to our advantage. We get to... I don't have any... Why do I keep going for skip sandwiches I don't have. We get to bring our full party in. You jerk. Get out of my way. which is a huge advantage. But B, we also don't have to worry about random encounters. 'Cause this is a dangerous place to be with random encounters turned on. And at some point in this run, I bought like 1 extra super bomb, and that cost me some skip sandwiches. Because normally I'd have 1 or 2 here, but I really am just out of money. It would not have saved me enough time to make an extra trip to the ATM at that point, though. But the next time I go, I'll have enough money for the rest of the run. So the only enemies I have to worry about are the 3 Krakens here in the Sea of Eden, because they're not random spawns; they're force spawns. They're gonna be here no matter what. And ideally, he'll move out of the way. Stay. Nope, it's all right. I had a feeling I was gonna end up fighting one of them. Do I have anything that's not up? Nope. Nice. Alright, I got this frozen. Oop. That is how I'm gonna throw out Starstorm. Take him out. That should take them out. Yeah, that first Kraken and I do not get along. There's not really a good way for you to manipulate him. He just kind of has to meander over to the correct spot on his own. But these last 2 Krakens, you have a little bit more control over. But maybe he'll... Nope. I was gonna say, maybe he'll just be out of the way. Come here. Oh. Boy, I'm playing a little bit of a dangerous game here. Stay over there. No, stay there. Stay good. Good Kraken. No. Oh, you punk. Oh, no. You punk! Oh, I hate you so much. Alright. What a jerk. Having a super bomb? I do. Like, can you hit somebody else, please? Jeez. Alright, so if I was gonna end up fighting that Kraken, which I didn't want to do, but if I had to do it, this is not the worst possible outcome, because Food's level doesn't really matter at this point, but Paula and Jeff, their EXP does matter. Oh, he's got hit points. I'm gonna take this guy out in 1 shot. Now, one time I'm gonna say that and it's not gonna be true. But it's not this time, thank goodness. So there is Magic Hand. That last Kraken, man. And well, you guys can't see my splits, but right now it looks like I'm about 3 minutes ahead of my splits. But not really. We've just got about 3 minutes worth of text to mash through here. because the game is hard-coded here to give Ness 200,000 experience points. Ness isn't in the party. He's still in that basement in Threed, where we left him so long ago. He hasn't been with the party. He has no idea what's going on. Nobody knows he's there to go save him. But he's gonna get 200,000 EXP. And he's level 1. This is yet another reminder that Pajama Percent, I don't know about other categories, but Pajama Percent allows the use of turbo controllers now. I really need to go get one of those. He's gonna get to level 35. Which, if I went in, did what I needed to do to actually get him part of the party now, he'd actually be viable. He would be able to help me out in the Gygas fight. Just that one huge chunk of 200,000 EXP gives him enough to work with in the Gygas fight. Are we at 25? Yeah. Six more, 5 more, 4 more, almost there. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Last level. He just learned how to teleport, so maybe he can save himself that way. Still not done with the text, though. Now we're done with text. So the game just assumes that you're going to be in a party with just Ness here. So it very conveniently doesn't say create a party Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. It just says the game is coded, I assume, just to add Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. So even though you'd think Ness would be involved in this part of the game, or for that cutscene, it still doesn't add him to the party. And very, very important, super important, extremely important. You have to walk out through this little cave entrance and walk back into Saturn Valley. You can see random enemy spawns are turned on now. But what that did was, oh, I don't have teleport. I have to pick Pooh up. What that did was unlock the teleport to Saturn Valley. Does he have psychic points? Yes. All right. I want to point out the doctor just told us that the thing isn't working, and we get in the thing to realize it's not working anyway. That's okay. We have to go back to the meteorite that crashed by Nessa's house now, which is in Annette. Annette, Winnet. So we're gonna teleport, obviously, to the Tenda Village. But again, random enemy spawns have been turned back on because we watched that cutscene at the end of Magic Camp. So unfortunately we have to worry about those, but I told you we weren't actually going to have to worry about those, and I meant it. We're going to come over here, save the game, go out of bounds yet again. We haven't been out of bounds in a long time at this point. Look at all that money in the account. $17,299. Boom. That's some money right there. We're gonna get all 8,000 of that. 8,500, I guess. So I think we've got, there's this trip, and I think there's just one more trip, out of bounds with the stairs glitch. Nope. If you ever just see me staring at that text box for a second, it's because you can't just mash B through that text box to quit out of your save. You can mash B for the first one, but not the second one. And the reason why I went out of bounds here is I can open and close the map. You can see I'm back in Onet. And one added bonus of being on stairs, because remember we're on stairs here, right? Is that enemies cannot start a battle with you. And none of them came close, so I couldn't like just walk in front of them and rub it in their face, but I can't actually get into a random encounter right now. Shopping. Gotta go shopping. Which means one more trip to Shady ATM guy. Get out of my way! Oh, nice! Got all the way there. Look at that. So I need at least 2 multi-bottle rockets for the Gygus fight. Gonna want some super bombs, most of which I'm gonna put on Paula. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just cap her out on super bombs. Because if she runs out of psychic points, we're in trouble otherwise. And if we get good damage rolls, a lot of those super bombs are just going to go to waste. But if we don't get good damage rolls, we're going to need every single one of them. He's probably not going to survive long enough to get more than 3 super bombs out. Did grab the meteorite piece, right? Yeah. So that is it. We've done everything we have to do before we go to fight Gygus. So there's not much left to the run now. Not much left to the run now. Just watching a lot of cutscenes before we get to the final fight. Right, off we go. So this is the first time we're seeing this guy. I forget if he has a name or not. But he's gonna teach Pooh Starstorm Omega. There's a part of the game where he takes Pooh away to teach him, for training, to teach him Starstorm Alpha. So you actually lose him from the party for a fair amount of time. Oops, I didn't go far enough. There we go. Alright, so what's being explained to us now is we've used our first time machine to go to the right place to fight Gygus, but we're still in the wrong time. This is where we want to fight Gygus, but he's like millions and millions of years in the past from where we are now. So they invented another phase disorder, around phase disorder 3 now, which can send us far enough back in time to fight Gygus, but it can't transport living tissue, living things. So the horrible drilling noise you hear in the background is our souls being extracted from our bodies and placed into robots because, you know, just throw ethics and philosophy and whatever you want to. It's all just irrelevant at this point, apparently. I like how it just treats it as just no big deal whatsoever. Alright, one last trip out of bounds to take. Also, Pokey doesn't have a robot sprite. If you've forgotten anything, if you've forgotten items, if you forgot to go shopping, you can actually go, use the stairs glitch to go out of bounds here, and just a couple of steps south of that save point puts you back in Saturn Valley. A couple of steps east of it, I think, puts you in Tucson, which you can open up with the town map. So if you've forgotten, I don't think you can fix most like story progression issues, but if you forgot to go shopping, or if you forgot to pick up the C pendant or anything like that, you can actually escape there and go back and pick it up, so you can finish your run. You're gonna lose a ton of time, obviously, but if you're just worried about finishing your run or something like that, it's not an issue. And here I'll be able to show off because now we're on a staircase again. Remember, air quote. Yeah, can't mess with you. And going out of bounds here saves a lot of time, but really it's just these enemies would take a lot of time to work your way through. Gear check. C pendant, grab its foot. Badge, okay. So that's it. We are on the Gygus fight, and once again, the first turn is by far the most important turn in this fight. Normally Ness would be here to paralyze Pokey, which would eliminate a lot of damage from this first phase of the fight, but I don't have that, so it's very important that everything else goes according to plan. I want Paula to survive the first turn and put up a psychic shield to block all of Gygus's damage. The problem is that if Gygus uses PK, your favoriteest thing ever, Omega, the strongest version, whichever version it is, it's going to one-shot Paula, and no matter how fast I mash, she's not going to get her turn off to get the shield up. And without any recovery items, that's pretty much me gonna go reaching for the reset button. I also need these multi-bottle rockets from Jeff. You want to make sure you hit Pokey, because the default target is Gygus, and you don't want to hit him. So that's good. PSI thing alpha. A little bit of damage. Good RNG there. Just need Pokey to... Good, not kill anybody. He didn't. Let's see. Damage roll. 1448 is the best I've seen out of Jeff here in a long time, so that's good. And we got our shield up. So the most important turn out of the way, pretty much according to plan. But again, you want to make sure you throw your damage at Pokey. If you throw any damage at Gygus, he's going to reflect it all and kill your party. Look at that! Oh man, did I get some good damage rolls out of that. Holy cow. Man, if only I didn't lose like 4 minutes of Sunstroke, this would be on track for a PB here. Oh, Sunstroke RNG. I'm really salty about that now. Though I messed up the stairs glitch a couple of times too, but... Alright, so now we're on to phase 2. So the sources of damage are completely different. And from this point forward, Paula is completely invincible. I don't have to worry about her taking any kind of damage whatsoever. Again, because Gygas only has 3 attacks. One of them is lightning, and Paula's immune to lightning damage because of the Franklin badge. One of them is PK Flash, and she's immune to that because of the C pendant. And the last source of damage, she's not immune to it, but it's a very weak source of damage. Let's see if I can figure out how to menu here. Also, after about now that I've got 2 Star Storms out, wow, this is good. This fight's going so well. At this point, Jeff and Pooh are just wasting frames, and I'd very much like for them to just kind of get wiped out and not have to menu through their turns, because they're just going to be defending for the rest of the game. I might throw a heal on the Paula because she's only got 66 hit points. But that's about it. If I couldn't do that, I wouldn't be worried about it. Yo 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 yo. Come on, take him out. So this cutscene right here. If you have not advanced the story with the proper events in the proper order, this is the cutscene that will soft lock. So if you say skip talking to the doctor, but somehow you're able to get into phase disorder anyway, let me check on my splits. So I would have talked to the doctor about 48 minutes in. Yeah, you would have realized you killed your run 40 minutes ago, and you wouldn't realize it till right here. That feels bad. Did Pooh get his turn? No, he's still at 15 second points. I was gonna say, Paul still has no hit points. There we go. So sad, yo. Ha ha! No, hit Pokey. So now we just have to pray 8 more times. Spoiler alert. By the way, that's how you beat the final boss in Earthbound. So we didn't meet these guys. This is the Runaway 5. They're a band that gets into quite a bit of financial trouble that you have to help bail them out of. But when you do, they give you a ride in their pretty sweet Runaway 5 bus there. Ooh. Yes! Shoot. Alright, well, Jeff is down. That's good, that's good. Oh, this is Paula's family. I don't know if the correct word is owns, or runs, or teaches at, but, Paula's parents run a preschool, so those are the students at the preschool who are Paula's friends. They're very, very worried about her. Whoa! Oops. All right, well, Pooh's gonna take a swing at Gygas here and do absolutely nothing. This is back at Snowwood, just friend Tony and all his classmates. I'm still a little surprised that Praying got through the infamous Nintendo of America censor. Because I know in Final Fantasy 4, and I don't know about release dates, which might matter, but in Final Fantasy 2 US, they changed all the praying into wishing. Can I just hit defend? It really doesn't matter, I guess. 25 points of damage. And there's a video out there somewhere on the YouTubes of what happens if you actually sit here and fight Gygas and take down all his hit points, I think. But I forget what happens. I don't know if he even can. He might just heal after every round. Pokey pretended to cry. I forgot he does that too. He's a real hero, that guy. I keep forgetting Pooh's still alive. Remember when I said he's only gonna last long enough to throw 3 super bombs? Yeah, about that. Alright, so here's my buddy Frank. Frank is the first really tough enemy you fight in Earthbound. I guess he's more of a mini-boss, but he's still the first mini-boss you run into, really. He's a leader of the local gang called the Sharks. And after you save the world, he turns away from his life of crime and starts working at the burger shop there. But when you defeat him, he's a pretty cool dude. You can go to him and get free full heals, even for the full party, if you bring the full party. He also builds robots. This one's kind of sad. That's his mom, and she's like, "Oh no, my poor baby boy hasn't called home in so long." Which, by the way, if you haven't played Earthbound before, if you haven't noticed from, you know, having to go get Sunstroke, it has a very, very different set of status effects from other RPGs. And one of them is homesick. Ness can get very, very homesick to the point where he spaces out in battles and will just randomly lose turns in combat. And you have to call home and call your mother to heal homesickness. I think that's the only way to heal it. Which is really quite sweet. Alright, one more turn to go. Don't you start dropping frames now. I saw that OBS. I saw that little square go from green to... Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Alright, and now you guys don't freeze me on my last turn. It's time. Hey. I had 131. Wow, I had 131. 31.13. I gotta screen cap that. Alright, so I told you the player name would get involved in this game somehow. And here it is. You know, the party's here, they're trying to save the universe, and they're literally at the end of their rope. Paul can't think of anybody in the whole world to pray for help from. She just can't think of anybody. Then all of a sudden, it's you, the person holding the controller. It's you who comes to their rescue at the end of the game. You really were the hero all along. It was you. Which is really sappy, but... man, the first time I played through it, man, that was so cool, man. I gotta screen cap that. 131, 31, 13. That's never gonna happen again. Alright, so if you've played Earthbound before, and I only need about another minute here before I'll really be finished with what I'm doing. But if you played Earthbound before, you know that there's a little bit of playing to do after you defeat Gygas. You have to, well, you don't have to walk Paula home, by the way. I didn't learn that until about a year ago, but you have to walk home. Like, you have to complete your journey and go all the way back home, which is another, you know, kind of sappy, kind of sweet thing to do. But for pajama percent type runs, there's actually kind of a problem with that, in that you skipped a bunch of content, so you can't actually walk home. We're not going to have teleport. I can't teleport to Onett, and even if I could, I haven't finished the prologue, so all of the cops are still there. You can't go home. So you just beat the game, you just defeated Gygas, saved the universe, and you've self-locked your game. And the only thing I really want to show off left is smash through a little bit more text to see what happens when Ness is supposed to appear in the game. I'm at the end where she asks Ness to walk him home, which won't take that long. Yo, Dr. T-Chops. I need to get me a ham hot emote. So you can see there's Ness right there, right? He made it out of the basement, right? Can I get a frame skip button on my Super Nintendo? I guess not. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, last little bit of text to mash through here. Kind of feel bad for Jeff a little bit here, because he's already resigned himself to being the third wheel. I'm gonna steamroll right by it in the chat, or in the text rather. But he said something to the effect of, well, hey, you know, when you two get hitched, you know, I could be the guy who fixes your appliances, right? Like, he totally has a thing for Paula, probably, and he just resigns himself to the fact that he's not the hero, so he doesn't get the girl. Poor Jeff. And this is the last little bit right here. Paul's gonna walk up to Ness and be like, hey, Ness, can you walk me home? And you'll be like, yeah, sure. And about that, nope, it's still just you and Pokey. And Pokey has no inventory. You can't do anything with him. You have no psychic abilities. Can't teleport. You are essentially soft-locked because you can't go home. You have a lot of walking around to do in your soft lock, but you can't do anything. And that is it for Earthbound Pokey%. Hope you guys enjoyed the run. Thank you very, very much for inviting me. Thank you very, very much for letting me kick off the event. Hope everybody else's runs go absolutely fantastic. Best of luck to everybody, and enjoy the rest of the event.
All right. So that was an awesome introduction there of Pokey%.